The final section is the child and advocacy. And basically here we're looking at how do we speak out in a non-confrontational way on behalf of children and youth. What is advocacy? Advocacy is basically speaking to someone who has responsibility or authority or power on behalf of someone who has their rights are being trampled. Now, if that's the case, if that's the definition of advocacy, what's the most common form of advocacy? Prayer. Praying to someone who has responsibility, has authority, power on behalf of someone whose rights are being trampled. So all of us can be advocates. But we can all be advocates in other ways as well. And in fact, when I have pastors, church leaders in my course, my objective for them is that they become advocates. They know what Scripture says, they know it's very important, they know that they can help set the agenda for the churches. They know that, for example, in the seminaries are the prophetic voice for the churches. They ought to be saying to the church what issues ought to be important. So they're speaking out on behalf. Not that they become caregivers themselves, not that they're getting their hands dirty with the hard work of caring for children, but they're celebrating those who do. They're equipping those who do. They're affirming those who do. And they're setting that agenda and tone in their churches as advocates. One other component of the advocacy section is an overview of the rights of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. The Convention on the Rights of the Child is the most widely ratified document that has ever been signed off on by nations. Only 2 nations of the world have not signed the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Do you know what those 2 nations are? Somalia, they haven't had a nation or a government that can sign anything in recent years, and the USA also has not signed the Convention on the Rights of the Child, but all the rest of the UN nations have signed the rights of the child. By the way, there are 2 reasons why the US has not signed it, an official reason and a real reason. And I'll share that with you at some point. But all the nations of the world have signed it. There are hundreds of rights-based NGOs. And what does that mean? That means that the Convention on the Rights of the Child is their starting point for all that they do. And the Convention on the Rights of the Child, 44 articles there, is a very important document. We can all learn from it. We can affirm almost all of it. But we Christians know that we have another document, the Bible, which is much more authoritative. And we don't have to rely on that Convention on the Rights of the Child. And there are aspects of the Convention which are quite suspect. And as Christians, we need to know what they are, and we need to know how to challenge those aspects that can be misused in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. But I believe that any student who's getting into the arenas where children's needs are addressed, because the CRC, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, is so prominent and well known around the world, we also have to know about it. We can look pretty foolish if we're carrying that banner for children and we don't know what the CRC says, because that is the starting point for so much work that's done on behalf of children by secular NGOs around the world. So the last part of the course has to do with understanding the CRC a bit and being able to critique it from a biblical standpoint.